Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. I am now at the it's not even a truck stop. It's a Conoco gas station at the Point of Rocks, Wyoming. It's about almost halfway between Rock Springs and Wamsutter, Wyoming on I-80. Good little place to stop, dirt lot, but you can usually find a spot even later at night, like I did tonight. Picked up a load today in Spanish Fork, Utah, going to the Omaha area, basically, Bellevue, Nebraska. So, stopped here for the night because I got stuck at the shipper for hours today. Yeah, it was like 5.5 hours, something ridiculous like that. Gotta love that. So I couldn't make it all the way back to Cheyenne for tonight, where I live, but I'll stop through tomorrow. Maybe have some lunch with the wife, something like that. Go to the store again. I'm gonna buy the George Foreman. The George Foreman grills still exist. Did you know that? I didn't. When I was at Walmart the other morning, Monday morning, picking up supplies before I had to head back out to make my delivery in Salt Lake on Monday afternoon, I saw they had a new little copper-coated like single or double, I guess they call it a 2-serving grill, so you can put like 2 burgers on there. $14.95, $15. Hell, I spent $15 at a Taco Bell Express in where was it? Oh, Columbia, New Jersey, and it wasn't even that good. I try to eat out of the truck as much as I can because you save a lot of money. The food's probably better if you're cooking it. And better for you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Alright, so anyway, gonna pick that up. I'll pick up some frozen burgers. Gonna pick up some hot dogs, because then I can cook hot dogs in the truck. That would be nice. I'd like that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, if you are... I lost a subscriber. I had 10. I'm down 1. I'm down to 9. I had a lowly 10, and now I'm down to 9. I'm a little depressed about that, because I know more than half of them are my family, and I got 2 friends that are subscribed. So I lost a subscriber. How did I do that? Am I that boring? I'm sorry. I had to rant a little bit about that. Anyway, main point of this video, and now almost 3 minutes in, I'm finally getting to it. You know, I've tried to do a video every day, every other day so far. I found this is a great way for me to wind down when I'm parked at night. Trying to just wind down from the day, do something completely different. So I thought I'd do another video. It's nighttime. Here I am, like I say, at Point of Rocks, Wyoming. So I have to have my flashlight aiming at me so you can see me. Otherwise, otherwise it looks like this. Hi, I'm in the dark. Or I could be the ghost of the trucker. I'm Mr. Ghost Trucker. Oh! Anyway. So, I have a little flash. Oh, by the way, this is my Magnum flashlight. Big, heavy metal flashlight. 3D cell flashlight. Not only is this a flashlight, it's a weapon, baby. Can't carry a gun in a truck, but you ever run into any crap, I got my Magnum. That can do some damage. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I have to shine the flashlight on me so you can see me, and I look pink. I'm pink. I almost match my damn shirt. Hi. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about on this video, now that I'm 4 minutes in, I'm on paper logs. I've talked about that in a few of my videos. And there's an advantage to that. Sometimes actually a disadvantage, because everything has to be done in 15-minute chunks. So if I stop, pull into a place, run in, go to the bathroom, get back out on the road, and maybe only use 7 minutes, I gotta show 15. So, that's kind of the downside. That's why I run my timer, and I'll try to show it to you if I can. If you can see that, I don't know, because I can't see it right now. There it is. I got a dual timer up there, egg timer. Top one with my 14, bottom with my 11. Alright, that's how I keep track of my time while I'm going down the road. It helps out. I've run e-logs before when I started with May Trucking. They were on the PeopleNet. ran e-logs with them. I switched to weld companies. No, I'm sorry. May was on the Qualcomm, that giant frickin' box. And boy, what really annoyed me about that is, 18 times a day you get messages from somebody in every frickin' department at May Trucking. I got another message for you. Ding, ding, ding. And of course that would ding all frickin' night long. Very annoying. When I went to weld companies, they were on the PeopleNet. All right. Then I went to Indian Creek Express in Pierce, Colorado. That's when I had my first truck that I owned, and I bought my second truck while I was with them. Both Cascadias. We were on we were on paper logs at first. Then, to get prepared for the whole ELD mandate, they put us on e-logs. At that point, partway through running with Indian Creek, I purchased this truck, Freightliner Coronado Glider Kit. Glider means at least 3 major components are refurbished. So it was a brand new truck, brand new chassis, but it has a remanufactured or reconditioned, refurbished, however you want to put it, engine. It's got a Detroit Series 60 1999 engine. It's got a remanufactured transmission and rear end. That's what qualified it for a glider kit, okay? It was a lot less than buying a brand new Cascadia, which would at about that time in June of 2016, they were running about $170,000. The new Kenworth 680s were running around $175,000. I got this truck for $125,000. Big savings. And the fun part is you don't have all that, the DEF and after treatment systems. That's why I bought this truck, because I was tired of getting nickeled and dimed with all those sensors going out, blah, blah, blah. Then a year later, FMCSA changed the rule and said if you're running a truck that has got a 99 or older engine, you can run paper logs. Holy crap-a-mongo! I won the lottery on that one, baby. So I was still leased with Indian Creek at the time, and they were running the e-logs. I had the PeopleNet in here. I've got a hole in my dash to prove it, which I'm not happy about. There it is. Yep, Indian Creek put that hole in my dash for me. Thank you, Indian Creek. Anyway, ran the PeopleNet on this truck. About 60% of the time it didn't work. I think it's because the ECM on this engine wasn't really set up for that sort of thing. I'd be going down the road and it would throw me onto on duty not driving while I'm driving. Hello. Then I'd stop and fuel. I'd show my time fueling. I'd put it on off duty. I'd run inside, go to the bathroom, get my fuel receipt, come back out. It's got me on driving. I'm sitting there stopped. Hello? 60% of the time, I had to keep reverting back to paper logs because the e-logs did not work with this truck. So, luckily, when they changed that rule, then I was like, well, great. I don't want to have to run e-logs anymore. Indian Creek Express, unfortunately, had such a bad rating. They kept flipping trucks and trailers into ditches and so forth that their insurance required them to have e-logs. So, it was time to leave. So I found a nice little company out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa called Turquoise Trucking that I now lease to. And, I told them, hey, I found out if I, come over to you guys, I don't have to run the e-logs. They're like, great, we're happy with that. We're switching everybody else over. I think they went with Big Road at the time, and I think they've now switched again. But I'm still running paper logs and doing it legally. And just to show you, here's my logbook. See, there you go. I even got custom log sheets made. I know you can't see them on here, but on log sheets, most of the time you got to fill in a whole bunch of information every day. I got custom log sheets made, so it already has my name, already has the company, already has my truck number and trailer number. So I just have to fill in the basic stuff every day. Kind of makes it nice. All right. So now this whole video is about e-logs versus paper logs. Like I say, I like having the extra advantage of running the paper logs. There's a few things you can do with it. Like if you're at a shipper or receiver and there's a truck stop within the way I always have to do it. You have to do everything on a paper log within 7.5 minutes. I mean, if it's more than 7.5 minutes, you're going to count that as a whole 15. But if there's a truck stop 5 minutes away and it's in the same town, I don't have to show I moved on a paper log. I'm in the same city because it's less than 5 minutes. That's not a movement on a paper log. That's the kind of advantage you can have there, okay? The whole problem with the e-logs versus paper logs, everyone's, when they put the mandate in, a lot of truckers, I heard a lot of guys saying on the CB, well, if they make that a mandate, I'm quitting, blah, 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 you know. I've run them before. They're not terrible. The main thing I hate about e-logs, and this is part of the reason that the OOIDA, Owner Operators Independent Driver Associations, always fought it, is the harassment you get. And that was another reason I left Indian Creek Express. If I was tired, maybe I didn't sleep good that last night, and I'm pulling more than a 10-hour break, after 10 hours, they're calling me. Well, we're showing you're still in, Waukene, Kansas. Why aren't you moving? Because I'm freaking tired. That's why. And it's none of your damn business in the first place. All you should care about is if I pick up on time and I deliver on time, the rest of it is none of your damn business if I feel like taking a 14-hour break that day. Don't frickin' call me 10 hours after, because 10 hours into my break and say, why aren't you moving? Why don't you bite me, all right? I got harassed because of e-logs, and that's a bunch of crap, and I can testify to that. I don't get harassed now that I'm on paper logs. I think even if I were on e-logs with the company I'm with now, they wouldn't harass me. So that's one problem with them. When they can track every frickin' thing you're doing, none of your damn business. None of your damn business. Honestly. The biggest problem with the whole e-logs, paper logs things isn't really whether you're on e-logs or paper logs. The real problem is with the hours of service. And that's what it comes down to. The 14-hour clock, that's what really screws us up. In my opinion, we should be able to stop that 14-hour clock if we're at a shipper or receiver or have stopped for more than 2 hours. Because honestly, if you're at a shipper or receiver, what do? Some will say you have to be on duty the whole time. You're not loading the truck, usually, right? The most you're doing, I'll show 15 minutes, which it only takes me 5 minutes to back into a dock, thank you. I'll get to a shipper, I'll park, I'll go check in. They'll say, hey, go hit dock 41. I'll roll over there, I back into the dock. That took 5 minutes. I show 15 on my paper log, even though it only took 5 minutes. Okay, so now I'm back in the sleeper berth. I'm resting. I'm not working. So if I'm there more than 2 hours, let me stop that 14-hour clock. Because like today, if I'm at a place where there's some yahoos who decide they're going to eat up 5.5 hours of my clock, I should have been able to stop that clock. So now I couldn't make it all the way back to Cheyenne. That's crap. I should have been able to do that. Or if I was tired halfway driving across Wyoming going back to Cheyenne and felt like I wanted to take a nap for 3-4 hours, that shouldn't count against me either. I drove tired on e-logs a lot more than I would like to admit, because they force you to. Because when you're that 14-hour clock's counting down, maybe I didn't sleep good that night. Maybe I only got 4 or 5 hours worth of real sleep, even though I took a 10-hour break. Maybe 5 hours into my next day of driving, I want to stop and take a nap for a few hours. Well, but on the e-logs, I still got to get there, and unless you stop for 8 hours, you can't stop that damn clock. So I can't tell you how many times I was forced to drive tired because of the e-log. Now, granted, that means I probably should do the same thing on a paper log, but I don't need to say any more about that. The problems with the hours of service. The old rule, the way they had it years ago, I think was a lot better, which was you could drive 10 hours a day, one less hour than you can drive now. But you could drive 10 hours a day in any 24-hour period. Then you couldn't drive again until you took at least 8 hours off. hell of a lot more flexible. So if you wanted to stop halfway through your drive and nap for 5 hours, you could. And you could still make it to your delivery or your truck stop location or whatever, and it didn't kill you. This non-stopping 14-hour clock is what really hurts us when we can't stop that damn thing. Especially when shippers and receivers eat up most of our time, which you know is the case. And then they kick us off their lot. At least FMCSA earlier this year did change the rule on personal conveyance to say that you can roll when you're laden. That used to be the old rule, you could not. Now if you get stuck at a shipper or receiver, you can roll to the nearest truck stop or safe haven, even if you're laden, even if it's advancing your trip. Thank God they changed that. Still doesn't help us out a lot. Okay, so that's the biggest problem with the hours of service rule. Is that whole damn 14-hour clock. We should be able to stop it. The split sleeper berth is handy sometimes, but not a lot of the time. I'll use it every now and then on my paper log, but it's still kind of confusing and hard to figure out. But I'll do it every now and then. We should have a split sleeper berth for the 34 reset. 34 hours, because come on. If you're like me and you're out on the road, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8 weeks at a time, guys. Do you need to spend 34 hours in Short Hairs, New Jersey? Do I need to spend 34 hours in Big Thighs, New York? No! 24 hours is about enough. So if you're going to still make me do 34, let me split that up. Let me do 24 hours in Big Thighs, New York. I can probably sleep, if I didn't get all that good of sleep that week, that much time. Then let me go ahead and move down the road and do another 10 to fulfill that 34. Here's my idea. As long as you do your full 34-hour reset within a 48-hour period, let us have that. Okay? Give us a little break on that thing too. Thank God they got rid of that 2 periods of 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. bullshit that they had in there. That was complete crap. The half-hour break, mandatory, I can kind of live with that. That's not terrible. It shouldn't start when you start your clock, though, because what if you start on duty, fueling, and then you realize, you got to do some other stuff, and maybe didn't get on the road for another hour and a half later, and yet you still got to stop within 8 hours when you went on duty. Start it from when you went on driving. Okay? Those are a few rants about the hours of service. So that's kind of my opinion. Everybody has their opinion on the hours of service. And so I thought, why not? I'll do a video on that as well. And hopefully I won't lose any more subscribers this time. I'm sorry I lost you. I'm sorry. What can I do to bring it back? Anyway, here I am, pink, thanks to the flashlight tonight. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching Clutch Trucker. Please ring the bell, do the like, sniff the Yahoo fairy dust, or YouTube fairy dust, whatever, all that crap you got to do. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Clutch out.